Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the world of RaceFace.Pro. My name is Stephen Koenig and welcome to Zolder. It's going to be an absolutely crazy race here at Zolder, a circuit that is feared by many as being the death to anyone that loves to ride those curbs. To others, it's exciting. It's a fun time, it's a roller coaster of a ride, and for everyone sitting out in the grandstands, this is gonna be an incredible race for you all. So, that being said, turn 1, turn 2, gonna be interesting, but it's our chicanes at turn 3, turn 4, and 5 and 6, or 6 and 7, I do apologize. That will be it, and a very, very difficult pit entry where we've seen cars get themselves disqualified by running a little bit late on the brakes. Let's head down to the track though, as qualifying is underway. And our drivers are giving it everything they got. Daniel Rowe at the top of the charts. Bernard Barkhuizen in second place. Andres Radio in third. Mahith Musa currently in fourth position, along with Gideon Reiner, Bego Krobler, Kevin Duplessis, Paul Finter in 8th place, Jean Leroux in 9th, and 10th place is Tyler Humphreys as he makes his way around the circuit. Eric Earste, Jaco Kutzer in 12th, 13th is Darren Miller, Mac van der Merwe, Werner Skuman, Rian van der Race, Ruan Heineke, along with Issam Domingo, Jude Neville, Mordred Larson, along with Alan Patterson, Daniel the Hitman de Villiers out on track, Keegan Sanderson, along with Jean Fafiers, Jason Farmer, Ryan Barrington Smith coming in and having a bit of fun, and Jaco Krobler rounding out our field. I know Jaco Krobler has been practicing around North Schleifer in a little Elantra. The biggest, the baddest, the best, going and jumping into the virtual box and saying, how's it before everybody else? So taking first of the trophies there. Well done. Good to have you. Good to have you all tuning in to the RaceFace.Pro GT3 Championship. And with so much on the cards, the drivers are going to be pushing themselves a little bit more. But this is only round 2 of our races, so everyone still has a fair chance to come up to the top of the orders. This is our Pro division. We do have a Pro-Am division and a Am division that are currently racing simultaneously in 3 different servers. But take a look at who stands at the top of the charts. It's Daniel Rowe, who is leading out after his first race. Bego Krobler, his teammate, will be lying in second in the championship. Mac van der Merwe lying third in the championship. Then we got Van Veen, who is lying fourth in the championship, but I don't see him currently racing. So Van Veen looks like he is going to be missing out this round, which will allow likes of Quan Duplessis to move up through the order, while getting chased down by Andres Radio, lying in 6th. 7th would be Jude Neville, followed by Werner Skuman, Daniel the Hitman de Villiers, and Johan Kleinans, rounding out our top 10 for the championship order. Paul Finter putting himself into 2nd place, currently with his times really trying to wring the neck of the car, closing down on the two Pandacity cars. Late on the brakes, trying to hook it all together, but it looks like it's lost out a fair amount of time and will not beat the likes of Daniel Rose, 127.5. Bernard Barkhuizen, though, has been on a bit of a streak at the moment. Our defending champion, after going and beating out Kieran Patterson in a, well, back and forth championship, to say the least. The two of them came to blows in the final race at Red Bull Ring in our previous season, and ended up with Bernard Barkhuizen able to take the win over Kieran Patterson. So he holds the crown, but at the moment losing a grip on it as well. Nice Musa trying to stand on the gas and get a little bit more out of his BMW. Kylian Reiner, though, traveling down, makes his way through the field. Also improving times every step of the way. Bernard Barkhuizen up into second place. Beggar Krobler managing to hook himself into third. Quando Passi. Q hoping to drive the wheels off this Audi to keep it all together. But a bit of support getting thrown in for Paul Fenter, saying how's it, and also a big shout out to PWSR as well. That is out on circuit. Back from the Merva, KSR Vibe in sixth place, going and racing with the police colours. Being chased down by Kylian Reiner, Mahath Musa, Andres Radio, Mordre Claessens running in 11th place. Darren Miller will be exiting pits now. He will be getting out onto the track. He's currently in 12th. Jaco Kotze, though, looking to defy the odds. He's in 13th. Daniel De Villiers, but we do have a car stuck on circuit. That is Bernard Barkhuizen. That seems to have got himself out and now having to just try and get out of the pits. There we go. So getting a bit of a exit, having to try and play a bit of catch up as time goes on. Qualifying running to an end, though, and our drivers will have to dig deep on what's going to work out for them. Who's going to be able to claw their way to victory for round 2 here at Zolder, and a circuit that can either make it or break it as a driver, where it does lie on a lot of bravery. Who can get us into the braking zones for the chicanes as quick as possible, but at the same time go and use your head a little bit. How are you going to line yourself up? Where exactly are you going to line yourself up to get passes done? Because the track is very narrow, and it narrows up quite a bit to the point that a defense isn't even needed, because your car naturally just being around can cause an issue. Daniel Rowe putting in his fastest sector, now trying to improve. Clawing his way through the fight. He's only 0.2 quicker than Bernard Barkhuizen, who is up on his lap time. That final sector, he's found out how to get a 0.1 in the final sector. So Bernard Barkhuizen is going to be one to keep an eye out for. Beggar Krobler, though, lying in third place, 0.3. He is currently running a 127.9 as his quickest lap time, versus the 127.7 that Bernard Barkhuizen threw in, and Daniel Rose 127.5. Paul Fento, though, into the 128.055. So this is going to be a proper run for him as they get their way around. So, taking a look over to our grandstands. Where are the Ferraris? Well, the Ferraris are currently foraging at the moment, down into 8th, 10th, 11th. What was originally a top running dog, this time not. And I think if it was anyone's car choice, they would have been all jumping into the brand spanking new 2024 spec Mustang GT that got released into Assetto Corsa Competizione. But we have a rule here at RaceFace.Pro where you're not allowed to change cars mid-season. You have to be in the same car that you selected. going throughout the season. So as much as the shiny, sparkly toy sits right there, you will have to wait out. I do think it's actually into the benefits of the drivers, as they don't get the need to jump into that car and relearn their entire new car. They can keep working on what they know. Fiers down in 25th position, 0.3 up on his lap time. Jude Neville 0.3 up on his lap time. Jason Farmer also making his way around, 0.3 up on his last lap time. Ryan Barrington-Smith doing a phenomenal job out there, trying to keep it all together. Mahath Musa unfortunately parking into the dirt. Looks like Daniel De Villiers also coming to a stop on track. Andre Serradio trying to draw some heat into the tires, getting a little bit of a flash from behind, getting told, okay buddy, enough with that, we're going to get racing. They stand on the gas as they look to try and put in their final times. 10 seconds left, and we don't want to have any problems like what we've seen in Formula 1, where the guys miss out on getting those qualifying times. Gideon Rayner, though, drops the wheel off on the dirt. That will be his time invalidated and completely out of it. Ryan Barrington-Smith, Mac van der Merwe, Kieran Duplessis, they are still making their way around. Kieran currently 0.2 up on his last lap time. Can he carry the momentum through? Out of the final corner, on the gas, and across the line. Gets himself into position. Paul Venter will have to try and dig deep on this one. He's 0.1 up on his last lap time. Mac van der Merwe, though, on a stellar run. 0.4 up on his previous lap time. 0.5, he's gained it. Lost it a little bit, running out wide. And I'm not sure if he's gone invalidated. Comes across the line. 8th place, invalidated that lap time. Man, 0.5 up. And you drop a wheel off into the dirt. Bego Krobler trying to improve, do everything he can to fight it out. And just taking a look at some of the interesting notes coming through from our spectators. Bit of support coming in. And, well, one from Jaco Krobler saying as he is running a bit ill at the moment. He's got his tissues on standby to keep him going throughout the race as qualifying comes to a close and we get ready to go to the track. So big welcome to everyone. If you just joined us, welcome to round 2 of the RaceFace.Pro GT3 Championship. Good to have you guys here, and we're going racing with some phenomenal cars. Zolder, a very tricky circuit that's looking to try and test everyone's absolute grit as they battle their way around. Who will stand on top of shoulders of titans? Who will be the titan? Well, we're about to find out momentarily. As our cars start to line up on the grid, Tim will give us the go-ahead to go to the cameras down below. And we will get looking at all the racing coming up. So big welcome to you all. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon. And we look forward to seeing you guys coming in and being a part of the championship. Once again, it is open for our pro-ams and AMs if you would like to come in racing out on Thursday. It's well worth it to join up in the world of Assetto Corsa Competizione. So let's go down to the track though and take a look at our grid. As we have got our RaceFace.Pro GT3 Championship. Daniel Rowe out in first place, followed by Bego Krobler, Bernard Barkhuizen, and Mahath Musa, Ryan Barrington-Smith, Juan Duplessis, Paul Venter, Mac van der Merwe, Gideon Rayner, Eric Earste, Tyler Humphries, Ruben Heineke, Andre Serradio, Daniel De Villiers, Mordre Claessens, Darren Miller, Ruben van der Race, Jaco Kutzer, along with Jude Neville, Jason Farmer, Jean Leroux, Jean Verviers, Keegan Sanderson, Isam Domingo, Alan Patterson, Werner Skuman, and Jaco Krobler, who is fighting off a bit of a cold at the moment, will be starting at the back of the track. But all eyes will be staring forward as Bego and Daniel Rowe look to try and get the jump on one another. Bernard Barkhuizen looking to put a ding in that. Mahath Musa being the joker card here, right at the front with the BMW amongst all the mid-engines. Will he be able to bring the beaver teeth across? Well, there we go. Coming across. Take a look at the man in the photograph in the mirror. Never knew that. There's actually one of the guys taking a photo of himself in the mirror. As they come across the line, Daniel Rowe going defensive. Bego Krobler trying to defend. Goes for the inside line. Bernard Barkhuizen stuck around the outside. Getting the drive on Mahath Musa, who loses it out. And now has Duplessis immediately onto the back of him. Tries to go and keep it all together, but it looks like Ryan Barrington-Smith, though, chucked off into the dirt. Will have to try and pull himself back. And now way down the order than planned. Bego Krobler getting defensive, getting elbows out as Bernard Barkhuizen pushing as hard as he can. Now looks to try and get past. Duplessis in the background also hunting for his way as they jump over the curbs. Bit of a rough ride for the hybrid racing one. Oh, and we got two EWSR cars off. Mordrake Claessens was also part of that. And unfortunately, life changed everywhere, as it does look like Daniel de Villiers and Tyler Humphries going side by side with one another. Both PWSR cars did not have a fun time over the curbs. It does look like Tyler Humphries, though, is getting it pulled along as well. Not an easy time. Mahath Musa into the weeds. That throws him down. Mac van der Merwe now has an opportunity as Bernard Barkhuizen looks to try go on the inside. Going to go side by side next to the Audi. A little bit of a bumper barge. And Duplessis losing out a bit of time. Gets twisted round. Paul Venter nearly getting hooked into a spin. He's got Andre Serradio onto the back of him. Serradio is going to try go around the outside. He's going to have the drive, though, over Paul Venter. Paul's going to have to lean on him quite a bit. Runs him to the fringes of the circuit. But Serradio comes back at him with everything he's got. These drivers are doing everything they can to properly have a good go at one another. Barkhuizen standing on the gas and getting onto the back of Van der Merwe. Not going to back down from the fight. But with those accidents, I want to go and see a little bit of the carnage because, well, call me a bit mental. I love seeing carnage. So this is off the start of the race. Isam Domingo is a part of it. Where he landed up getting caught into a bit of a mess. Avoiding one of the hybrid racing cars. And, oh, immediately getting a little love tap from 433. That would have been Werner Skuman that gave him a little bit of a love tap and saying, well, thanks, bud. Not ideal, but yeah, we'll take that one. Number 55. This is a bit earlier on. And that looks to be Gideon Reina having a little bit of argy-bargy with one of the Pandacity cars, the OG versus the Pandacity, with a hybrid racing looking on the inside. Under braking. Oh, well, not quite what you want to see, as Eric Kirstein was trying to go for the pits and didn't expect the OG car to slow down to go for the corner. That is one of the problems with the circuit. Unfortunately, we do run into a bit of a complex situation. This pit lane is straight on. You want to carry as much momentum into the pits, but if you want to make the corner, you have to slow down quite a bit before then. And unfortunately, if you're not timing it just right, you land up with a bit of a problem. Ideally, you actually get a little bit of a lift coming out of the final corner. Let the guys go a little bit so you can identify whether they're going to keep going or if they're going to pull in the pits, just so you give yourself a little bit of room. Two cars that are not giving each other room. Mordrake Claessens with Tyler Humphries as Tyler goes around the inside. Now locked up. Going to go outside, inside. Looks for the cutback. Just can't get it right. PWSR right up the back of the Panda. Looking not to be bamboozled at any point right now. Trying to force his way through. Daniel de Villiers has got Guillaume van der Race immediately onto the back of him. Ryan Barrington-Smith, who was far up the order, now suddenly second-guessing his options and working out where is he going to get past, how is he going to get past is the better question between them. As our drivers fight their way around, who's going to be able to stand at the top? Well, only time will tell as they look to try and gain a bit of time. Top of the charts, though, we do see Andre Serradio going after Mac van der Merwe. Looks on the inside, tries going as close as he can under braking. Couldn't get it all sorted out. Not as easily to get on the brakes. The BMW just having more understeer than the 992 Porsche just ahead of it. And that Porsche has got some big legs when it wants to get out of the corners. As we see one of the PWSR cars going and touching the dirt. At the moment, though, Mac van der Merwe is in a good opportunity to score get up to about 73 points if he finishes in fourth place at this point of the race. As he goes side by side with likes of Serradio. Serradio does move him around, trying to force his way past. Not an easy one for our drivers as they battle it out. Side by side, and Paul Venter sneaks on by, saying thank you very much. Takes the opportunity just to cruise in, and now starts to cruise away from the drivers. As you can see, the likes of Mac van der Merwe getting pushed out wide. Tries to make the corner. Unfortunately, that does land him in the dirt, and Paul Venter beautifully baiting him into a problem there. Does come across his nose and puts himself squarely back into position. Andre Serradio does so, and he brings his teammate into play as Mahath Musa also puts the squeeze on to Mac van der Merwe. Mac is going backwards. This is not ideal for him as he carves his way through because he's got Mordred Claessens and Tyler Humphries all onto the back of him. Tyler Humphries getting unsteady under throttle, tries to pull the Ferrari as it legs around all over the show, trying to snap the toe of Mordred Claessens. A bit of a weird wiggle going on there. I wonder if it's a short thank you, and well, that would definitely be a track limit. Going and leaping over. Not ideal circumstances as you see Paul Venter going and battling it out with the likes of Andre Serradio, and Andre just couldn't slow down the car enough. Has his teammate up on the inside. Mac van der Merwe, though, is going to keep his nose firmly planted in it, not to go and lose out a little bit of drive. Into the hairpin, tries to come across the nose. Tyler Humphries moves out the way. Mac van der Merwe tried to get in, but just couldn't get it all. As you could see, Serradio looks to the inside to try and force Mac van der Merwe to look around. So it's the two Project Vapor cars defending 5th and 6th position as it stands. First, second, and third place have checked out of the battle, and Paul Venter, as long as this battle keeps ensuing behind him, will be following suit. But, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's go and talk about the elephant in the room for this one, and that is going to be our mandatory pit stops. We've got 2 of them that the drivers will have to do. Now, we have seen a couple of drivers like Sean LaRue, Jude Neville, Alan Patterson, Rian van der Race, Ruben Heineke, and Jason Farmer have all done their first set of pit stops. It's mandatory to do 2. Try and get one done early and out the way as quick as you can. As you see Jude Neville going side by side. Loses out to Rian van der Race and Alan Patterson. And we were talking about our pit stops coming into play. Well, this is what happens if you don't quite time it. And for Jude, who is all over the show, will be losing out massive amounts of time. All cars ahead of him are ones that have done their pit stops. So bear that in mind as they try and fight their way around the circuit. All our drivers hoping to just gain that little bit of time. So far, quickest lap time set by our leader, 1:28.0. As Daniel Rowe looking to keep breaking away from the rest of the field. Andre Serradio keeping a close eye on the Mahath Musa. but keeping a closer eye on his rearview mirrors as Mac Fundermover and Tyler Humphries are going at him, doing everything they can to try and keep this train going. Now, this is where the question starts coming in. Is it worth going for the long game here? Keeping nice and close to your competitor, trying to force a mistake early on, but in turn, here comes the con. You risk going and missing your brake markers, you've closed your brake ducts up a bit, and now you're going to have everything getting warmer and warmer, degradation on the tires and brakes starting to become more and more. I would prefer to start running in free air versus so close to my competitors. As you see Ryan Barrington-Smith getting past Daniel De Villiers without too much of an issue. Yellow flags kicking up for Werner Schoeman though, who landed up with a bit of a problem. Let's see what happened to him. This is about 30 seconds back. As Tim, the cameraman, giving us shots, Jim will be in our ears to let us know all that goes on in terms of whether we have a final lap. As we see one Pandacity car going and biting the wall, unfortunately not to plan. Bernard Barkhuizen putting in the fastest lap time of the race. That does actually bring me to a little bit of a funny discussion with Bernard Barkhuizen. For anyone that doesn't know, he was actually in a league race last night at it was Imola for the Zodiac racing community, and Bernard Barkhuizen was trying to time the clock to the point of crossing the line when it hit 0. It means he's done with the race. He stopped right before the line. Now, from a gap of 13 seconds between himself and Daniel Rowe, it suddenly closed down where he stopped to try and not pass the line on when the timer ran out, and instead landed up only finishing 3 seconds ahead. So taking 10 seconds and throwing it deep into the bin. Andre Serradio not going as deep into the bin with talent as he goes side by side with the likes of Tyler Humphries. Tyler will be getting a bit of a warning coming his way for cutting the chicanes. This circuit will be alive with drivers cutting the circuit just a little too much and landing up with a few problems down the way as well. We have seen it before. We do know this track is notorious with drive-through penalties on the way through. So let's see how everyone's going to keep going, battling their way out. Who's going to be able to fight as they can keep each other really doing everything they can, questioning, okay, when is the right time for the pit stop? It's 1 hour 17 minutes to go. You spent 12 minutes in the car. I do think the first set of pit stops is going to happen on the hour. As soon as we hit the hour mark, we're going to see most of the cars diving into the pits, or just after that. Next one will be roughly about 25 minutes. Any further into the race than that can be extremely detrimental. Bernard Barkhuizen, though, going to be fighting out for the top 3, right onto the back of Bego Krubler. Bego trying to defend as hard as he can. Holds the racing line, not too phased with the McLaren as yet. So he's just keeping that 0.5 of a second gap between himself and the McLaren. Remember, we are using the LFM BOP system, which does favor the Porsche at the moment. Well, all the cars are about the same, including the Bentley and the Lexus. But the McLaren on the circuit has some serious top end, trying to gain a little bit of time. Bego Krubler doing everything he can to try and bolster his way through, hoping that it will be enough for him to get a drop on the rest of the field. Daniel Rowe, who's checked out 4.4 seconds, has left his teammate to just defend against Bernard Barkhuizen. There's definitely going to be words in the helmet there of, hey, listen, you mind giving me a bit of tow? It would be great. But while these two fight it out, while they are going door to door and hammer and tongs, Paul Fenter, who we saw slightly in the previous shot, now starting to gain a bit of time. So Paul Venter will be one to keep an eye out for, because the more that they fight, the closer he draws near to that very same battle. Our drivers having to figure out what they are going to do, how they're going to stand on top, who will be able to claw their way to victory right here for the RaceFace.Pro GT3 round 2 at Zolder. Another good little fight coming into play. Andre Serradio, Tyler Humphries having a good go at one another, trying to get a bit of a pass. Not able to get it all hooked in just as yet, as I see yellow flags starting to flare up quite often actually. This is for the number 7 car, which is for Fears, if I remember correctly, is it? No, it's Eric Kirstein. So Eric Kirstein running into a bit of trouble. Landing up, standing on the anchors, and did have contact with one of the cars. Did slow up, allow the car to retake its position. Well done. Seriously, well done. A gentleman's act coming into play right there. Apologies for that little bit of dead air. Just had to rehydrate the throat after seeing some amazing action as Tyler Humphries massively better on the brakes compared to Andre Serradio, and Mac van der Merwe starting to lose his ground as he was fighting at the top end of the order. The Porsche having the legs, but it just doesn't seem to have the same brakes as Andre Serradio. Looks on the inside, hunting his way past, trying everything he can to just get that little bit closer to the likes of his competitor. Goes deep on the brakes, on the inside, on the outside, hoping to get his way around as they fight their way through. Hammer and tongs they go. Mac van der Merwe, Andre Serradio, Tyler Humphries, Mordred Claessens, but I do see yellow flags in the back, and that's Jaco Kutzer and Daniel de Villiers who had to land with a bit of a problem. But we don't want to turn off this as yet, as Mac van der Merwe goes on defense, holding back Andre Serradio, who is properly giving it everything he's got. Tyler Humphries now into the order of it, will look to try and get past and do everything he can to maintain his position. Nose to tail, keeping it all in line over the chicane, just try and keep the momentum up. As Serradio doing everything he can to hold on to the back of that police color scheme of Mac van der Merwe. KSR Vibe showing that they are the Vibe police right now, leading the train on the way through. Proper racing between them. Very good to see. But we did see a bit of an accident getting kicked up a little bit earlier on, and that was between our 177 and 93 car. Let's take a look. This is Daniel de Villiers. 177 right behind him is Jaco Kutzer. So Jaco, I think, maybe got surprised on the brakes and slows up. Yep, just a bit of a turn round, and unfortunately that's all she wrote, where it landed up the two of them getting twisted around. Change up for top of the order though. Bego Krobler trying to hold back Bernard Barkhuizen, and now they're starting to get into the back markers as they see a Eric Kirstein just ahead of them, going and watching the mirrors very, very closely. Bego Krobler will be radioing to his team saying, right, guess we got to get this Ferrari out of my way as quick as possible. I cannot afford to lose positioning to the likes of Bernard Barkhuizen, where Bernard will be clawing for his way, much like we have Andre Serradio trying to go side by side. Got the outside, got onto the dirty stuff, gonna hit the brakes early, tries to throw the BMW's nose in, but just couldn't get it to bite. As well done to Mac van der Merwe, who got an absolutely world-class stick all the way through and battled his way. So Tremendous stuff. Mordred Claessen's onto the back of Tyler Humphries, trying to figure out how he can get past as they go nose to tail. Ryan Barrington-Smith will also be going and calling upon his grandfather, who has been known in the past to pull a bit of a hat trick and also use a bit of that speed juice that he learned from Zolder to go and get the run up on the competition. Still nose to tail racing, but Mac van der Merwe leading out that front little pack as they claw their way through. So as it stands, it's Daniel Rowe in first place, Bego Krobler in second for now, with Bernard Barkhuizen trying to look for the inside line, backs out of it. And then you've got Paul Fenter in fourth place. Fifth, Mahath Musa, Mac van der Merwe in sixth. Seventh, Andre Serradio, along with Tyler Humphries, Mordred Claessen's, Ryan Barrington-Smith, Issam Domingo, Quan Duplessis, Jaco Krobler up into 14th, so good to see him out there. Jean Leroux, who is leading first of everyone that's done the pit stops, is in 15th with Alan Patterson, Jean Verveers. Jude Neville immediately onto the back of him, will be going side by side, and it looks like Neville gets ahead of Verveers without too much of a problem, so 17th, 18th changed up. Rian van der Race, Jason Farmer, Ruan Heineke, Keegan Sanderson, Darren Miller, Gideon Rayner, Eric Kirstein, Daniel de Villiers, and Werner Skuman riding out at the back. But I do see a bit of contact that came in for the 777. And this was Tyler Humphries with the likes of, that must have been Mordred Claessen onto the back of him, under braking. Mordred Claessen trying to get a little bit of a run. Slight contact between the two there. Not detrimental, but just maybe enough to upset the car. Enough. Well, did it upset the car a lot? 777. Then having Mordred Claessen up on the inside, side by side they go. Late onto the brakes. Another little love tap between the two of them. Ryan Barrington-Smith carrying on going though. So nothing detrimental to their run, as we see Mordred Claessen nearly having a detriment to his run. It's the car spearing to the side when he touches dirt. Very, very difficult to run this close to your competitors, and when you can get it right, as we've seen Serradio do, it gets a hell of a drive out of the corner. Now it's about who's fearless on the brakes. Up on the inside, Mac van der Merwe is going to try come back at him. Chooses that he just couldn't get it done. Looks to the inside, a very unstable BMW. Serradio holding back Mac van der Merwe, and now here comes Tyler Humphries, who looks up on the inside. Deep send to get it in, but just could not stand on the anchors hard enough and as far enough to get it sorted out. But I do see yellow flags. Bernard Barkhuizen going and landing up with a bit of a problem. Let's go back roughly 30 seconds because Bego Krobler was ahead of him. So how did he land up with a bit of a yellow? Did he drop a wheel on the dirt and have the car snap out on him? I see that someone wiped out the pit board. Kenny. Oh, well, okay. Well, that was a bit of a lock-up and spin for Eric Kirstein. Eric Kirstein completely lost the car and went round and round. Where she goes, where she stops, anyone would guess to know. Unfortunately, it was right into the back of Bernard Barkhuizen. Kills off his drive, but Eric Kirstein, though, will not be smiling after that little bit of contact. And after locking it up, I don't know if he went down the gears a little bit too quick and just locked the diff and stood on the brakes, got into a bit of a slide on the way through. Unfortunately, the two of them coming to blows with one another has changed their races from front to back. But the discussions will be going in ahead, but knowing Eric Kirstein and knowing the likes of Bernard Barkhuizen, I'll have a chat afterwards, have a good giggle, maybe go and see how they can make a meme and move on from that. Tyler Humphries right onto the back of Mac van der Merwe, trying to push his way through, getting closer and closer, maybe this time under braking. Nope, not close enough, but does try and hunt it down. It's Mac van der Merwe not getting the same drive out of the corner that he originally wanted to. Will have to defend this line if he wants to keep it all sorted. Takes the normal racing line, Not going to go for a tight line. Going to try go for a late apex. Bring the car out very, very wide. Does touch the grass. And now here comes Tyler Humphries. Looks on the inside. Just couldn't get it all booked in as yet. But trying his best. Looks around. Maybe close enough this time on the exit. But just getting his nose chopped off right at the end. Ah, so close. The frustration must be eating one alive as I see an accident for the 121 car. And that is Keegan Sanderson. Purple and green. Looks like the EVA. What's it? EVA 01 from Evan Legedian. If I remember correctly, that is the purple and green. Oh! And immediately as the 91 car go and lose it as well in the same spot. That was Darren Miller, who saw it and decided to fall off in sympathy of his fellow driver. See yellow flags for the number 22 as well. This is for Fears, who landed off into the weeds. So what happened to Fafirs? Under braking, gets it all booked in, runs out wide on the grass, slides out, holds his brakes. Well done, buddy. Well done. Thank you for holding your brakes. Seen many people lose it there and not be able to pull it back. Mac van der Merwe getting away from Tyler Humphries, but Mordred Claessens now has gained a bit of time and is immediately onto the back of the PWSR car. The Pandacity car now trying to look around, seeing where there's an open wound. Mac van der Merwe runs out a little bit wide. The police finding that they have gaps in their case, and now Tyler Humphries is looking to exploit it at this moment. You got to really dig deep. You got to use all the speed, pull out the blue light brigade, do everything you can to hold back the PWSR car, because once Tyler Humphries gets past, Mordred Claessens is also looking to capitalize as much as possible, as he's within a second. Looking into the pit zone, we have got Jakob Krobler, who's pulled into the pits, and drive-through penalty for Tyler Humphries. Oh, man! We spoke about the track limits, and we get to see it dished out. Tyler Humphries gets it. Mac van der Merwe can now just relax if the likes of Tyler Humphries gets past him. Knows he's got an extra pit stop over him. Tyler Humphries giving a nice little thank you. Bit of a flash of the lights as he immediately goes to serve his pit stop. I gotta say, hats off to the drivers. A lot of people don't actually put the indicators, they don't map the indicators in Assetto Corsa Competizione. Don't know why, but to the people that do map them, to the people that use them as hazard lights or use it as your left and right to basically indicate where you're going to be. So if you're going like a normal road, you're indicating right to that you're going right, or indicate left that you're going left. To you guys that use your indicators, the unsung heroes, we thank you. We take our hats off to you. Absolutely incredible stuff. Ardendorf and SA Lube, thank you for using your indicators. Don't be that guy. Be the indicator guy. Darren Miller going and allowing one of the cars to get past. Also trying to make up his time and really get on the power. Then we have got Killian Rayner trying to close up a distance. He's onto the back of Fafirs, one of our close battles out on circuit, our OG against our hybrid racing adventure team. I always think about adventure time like that. Jake and Finn, wanna be thens, always gonna be with them. I get completely wrong every time. So go side by side, Killian Rayner and Fafirs trying their might to battle it out. A little bit ahead of them, Rian van der Race and Jude Neville are also in their own little fight. But Jude Neville going and taking flight as he closes up on Alan Patterson. We've seen one drive-through penalty dished out. Will we see more? Well, we will find out as the race continues. A lot of our front runners have managed to put a second to a second and a half between one another. So breaking away early on. It's now towards the back end of the field instead of the sharp end of the field, which I actually like to talk about. The drivers at the back, they don't get as much screen time. They're not as the big fancy runners, as we've seen time and time again. But these are drivers putting in a concerted effort to be at the top. A lot of drivers actually moving up from Pro-Am into the Pro class that have stuck in the work to become a Pro driver. Alan Patterson holding back Jude Neville, Ruan van der Race right behind him, trying to also make up a bit of time. Jason Farmer in a bit of no man's land with his teammate Ruan Heineke going and chasing him down. Then you got for Fears with Kilian Rayner all over the back of him. I remember the first time I met Kilian Rayner out on circuit, he was driving an Aston Martin at the time. So this is going to be a proper run. Productive Panda. Never did I think I'd hear Steven talk about Adventure Time. You would be surprised. You would be surprised. I not only watched all the fun cartoons like the Courage the Cowardly Dogs, Ed and Eddies. I did watch more modern. Steven's Universe. Got to see a bit of that. Wasn't on my best watch list, but Adventure Time was pretty good. Kind of did fall away when they've changed it over now to a different version of Adventure Time, whole different universe essentially of it. Not a big fan of that, where it's Cat and someone else, but it was good to see Finn returning in the latest episode. How's that for a bit of pick your brain? Alan Patterson though, fighting out with Jude Neville, Ruan van der Race going after him. These three in a monstrous battle. Keegan Sanderson, Kilian Rayner also having a go at one another, but time's starting to run out as we have broken that 1 hour mark. And let's see who is in the top of the running. It is Daniel Rowe out at the top of the charts with Bego Krobler, Bernard Barkhuizen, Paul Fenter in 4th place. 5th is Mahath Musaf, followed by Andres Aradio, Mac van der Merwe, Mordre Claessens, Duplessis running in 9th, and 10th place is Ryan Barrington-Smith. Then we go to Sim Domingo, Jaco Kutzer, Tyler Humphreys, Jean Leroux, Alan Patterson, Jude Neville, Ruan van der Race, Jason Farmer, Ruan Heineke, Jean Verveers, Keegan Saunderson, Jaco Krobler, Kilian Rayner into the pits. Darren Miller will be getting past him without too much ease there, not too much problem, with Daniel de Villiers and Werner Skuman a little bit further back, trying to make his way around the circuit. But our closest pack racing at the moment is Alan Patterson, Jude Neville, and Ruan van der Race that are fighting out. A couple of signboards lying all over the shows. I tend to call them Kennies because everyone likes to wipe them out. And for anyone that knows that reference, good on you. You've had a rough childhood because you probably saw it from episode 1 when it was a bit rough. And the reason why Kennies were a problem. And did you know, fun fact, they actually stopped doing the Kenny joke, I think after, what was it, season 10. They decided to stop doing it. Yeah, South Park stopped wiping out Kenny in season 10. They left it for a bit more of a wider joke instead of every episode try and wipe out Kenny. And Kenny actually became Mysterion, who his actual power is he cannot die, but does remember every time and all the feelings of it. It's the only character that actually does have a superpower. The more you know, coming out from the THT Productions box here, as we see Jude Neville going and showing why he will never go and back down from a fight, except when the curb chucks him off, and Ruan van der Race will get the drive on him. A couple of the Ferraris, though, getting very lively, jumping over the curbs. But interesting to see Tyler Humphreys did his drive through and now down into 13th position. Jean Leroux, though, of the Hex Divers, also known as part of the Hell Divers, going and make his way through. For Super Earth, you clawed your way to victory. You defended against the QR code of PlayStation, and now you've got to defend Super Earth by scoring that top 10. Jean Leroux, all faith is in you, buddy. Just remember, don't drop on the buddies. As our competitors make their way around the circuit, everyone trying to step up the game, trying to push themselves that little bit further and see who will be able to take the win. We got Jude Neville and Rian van der Race fighting it out. Jude hoping to carry the logistical Nightmare Racing's name a little bit further. One of the quicker drivers of logistical Nightmare Racing, who's had quite a successful run in the series. Now stuck in between the likes of Alan Patterson, who is keeping very consistent, managing the gap between himself and Jude, with Rian van der Race constantly hounding, trying to figure out where can he get past. Back up to the sharp end of the field though. Mac van der Merwe has got Mordred Claessens onto the back of him. Remember, our top 13 still need to do their first of the mandatory pit stops, so that needs to be put out to bed quickly by our drivers with 55 minutes to go. I do see a bit of yellow flags. Rian van der Race and Jude Neville getting a slight contact between the two of them. Nothing too disastrous by the looks of it. Mordred Claessens into the back of Mac van der Merwe, trying to carry down the pace. Will he be able to go a little bit late on the brakes, using everything he can? But Mac van der Merwe goes and steps on the gas, and really gets that Porsche all hooked up. Whether it's got 3 wheels on the ground or 4, he's going to keep his foot firmly on the throttle and opens up a bit of a gap, but does allow likes of Duplessis to also close in the gap. Uno Racing Team now trying to be Uno 1 into the mix. Going to throw down that reverse card as quick as possible on Mordred Claessens and sends it. Not going to pick up 7s there. We'll have to try and wait it out. Mordred Claessens going to look to try and skadoosh his way out of both of these battles. Maybe go for a pit stop. No, he's going to keep traveling around. Now, a lot of people will be keeping on that. 433 though. There's Werner Skuman going and, well, not quite sure what Werner Skuman was doing there. Trying to get himself going. I think that car is firmly bent and broken. Let's go back about 30 seconds and see what happened. From Tim in the headicam, Werner Skuman is the captain of the team. Hooks a curb, runs out wide, gets it twisted round, bang in the wall, and trying to accelerate. Way too much on the gas and just drags himself around the wall. Frustration going and playing a very key part in that moment, and now needing a fair amount of repair on the car. So he will be needing to go and take a breather, dial it back in, refocus, and focus on the efforts. Mordred Claessens, Duplessis, and Mac van der Merwe, one of our closest battles within the top 10, 7th, 8th, and 9th position, having a good run at one another. Duplessis has slowly but surely, quietly been reeling in the drivers, hoping that he is going to get a little bit more within the fight. That Audi a little bit more hooked up in the mid-game versus the short term. As a lot of our cars go, and we see Duplessis pulling into the pits, so opting, he's losing a bit of time, dives into the pits. Interesting stuff to see how he's going to come out, or where is he going to come out. Yellow flags for Rian van der Race though. He's out into the weeds. Number 9 not getting it all together, unfortunately. He was right behind one of the PWSR cars. I think that was behind Alan Patterson, possibly. May have been over the curbs, twisted round, and spins out, gets on the gas, turns around. Wouldn't say a very successful pirouette, but close enough. Definitely close enough. Got to take my hat off to it. Well, everyone that has done their first round of pit stops, though, is Krian Reiner has completed his pit stops, along with Daniel the Hitman de Villiers, who has done his round of pit stops. Jude Neville going and getting a pit stop done and dusted. So definitely a couple of drivers getting those early pit stops, now trying to look for early gains in the race. But how does this work out, as we see a couple of retirements starting to come into play? Damage to cars being the issue. And Jude Neville, though, with a 30-second stop-go penalty. Oh boy. You've done all your pit stops and you get a stop-go 30-second penalty. Now, how do you get that? Well, that's getting off the button a little bit too early, unfortunately. scoring a rough one there. So now 30 seconds added to his time. All has to serve it under pit stops. Oh man, it's just not going to work out in his favor. He's going to have to serve it. And that's essentially put a third pit stop on his time. Not ideal circumstances, but has to be one that you keep in mind. Mac van der Merwe though, going very defensive, holding a solid line against Mordred Claessen's. I've got to give it up to Mac van der Merwe. He's had the likes of Tyler Humphries have a good go at him. He's had Mordred Claessen's had a go at him. He's battled out Maeth Musa and Serradio a little bit earlier on, and Paul Venter. They managed to get past, but he has held a solid defense at the moment. Not worrying about the mirrors, but more in line looking at how the race is developing for him. And I say that and you fall off the dirt. Whoa! Okay, ouch! Bang, crash, thud, both cars. So let's talk about the weather. I think it's safer for drivers. Oh man, let's go to Tim the cameraman there. As Mac van der Merwe runs out wide, and looks like as he was trying to pull it back, ran out of track, clips the wall, bounces back. Mordred Claessen's gets the hit. Both cars in the wall, and that is going to be substantial damage to both drivers. Okay, well, even Tim having a bit of a heart failure moment trying to find the cars, as both pulling in to get the first pit stop done and dusted, but a very unscheduled pit stop on both. A couple of drivers will be smiling by the thought of that one. Unfortunately, not the teams of those two drivers. Back up to the sharp end of the order though. Bernard Barkhuizen going after Bego Krobler, trying everything he can. Oh man, just my heart goes out to both Mac and Mordred. There's not much you could have been done by both drivers. You know, once you clip the wall and you're a passenger in your own car, and unfortunately where it was also just running out, and man, not ideal situations. Tyler Randall going and properly saying it, running out of tires there, so just having the walls narrow up on him, unfortunately bounced him in to the side of the Pandacity car. Unfortunately both taking a monumental hit. I mean, they're both passengers in that run. That is gut-wrenching to both drivers. That was one of the hardest impacts we've seen so far in this race by absolute far. There's not much that could have been done by both drivers other than just hang on for dear life. You're going to run into a bit of a brick wall. Here's some Domingo onto the back of Ryan Barrington Smith. Jaco Kutza doing everything he can, lying in 7th place. But another little battle starting to form a little bit further back. Keegan Saunderson going after the likes of Jean Verveers. So Verveers having a good run with Keegan of Never Give Up ahead of him, well, with the team. So Keegan at one point was part of the PWSR team. He landed up going and having a few internet issues and was out of racing for a bit. Had to vacate his seat. Now in the Never Give Up car, sporting that very Evan Langedian Ava 01 vibe, purple, green. I would say if it was red it would be the Ava 2. As we see Verveers running very close to the wall, trying to snap out that toe as quick as possible. A little bit of contact coming in for the number 42 and the 100 car. That's Alan Patterson and Paul Venter. I think it was them just coming out of the pits. Yeah, it was just coming out of the pits that the two got the yellow flag. Oh no, Alan's around the outside. Hey, there's a little bit of a touch. Paul Venter tries to get out. Alan tries to go for the apex, and unfortunately, two cars meeting in the middle. Meeting of minds do not work well for them. Darren Millett going all over the back of Jaco Kobler. Got a big tank slapper on the way through, trying to catch the car as he slides his way around. Our driver's still putting in monumental efforts at this point. But let's see who's gained the most and who's lost the most. Well, gained the most actually goes to Earste Domingo. We haven't been talking about him much. He's running in 6th place at the moment, started in 24th. He's gained 18 positions since the start of the race. Well done, Earste. That is absolutely brilliant running from you. I did see in the background a PWSR car, and that might have been with Darren Miller and Jaco Krobler. Yes, it is. And Tyler Humphries into the mix as well. And it does look like we've got a couple of guys running a little bit nose to tail. Tyler Humphries, though, looks down the inside, backs out of it, trying to keep it all together. One of our team try-hard McLarens is in the mix, also looking to try and make his way through, as the 177 car that's actually a bit further up the road. So Jaco Krobler getting caught up behind the back markers and opting to pull into the pits, as the two PWSR cars will be working as a team, with Jaco Krobler of the Pandasti Infiltrate Panda Pounce trying to defend and do everything he can to keep it all together. Hard on the brakes. Krobler trying to swing it in and keep the distance to Darren Miller, who is in a fight with his own teammate. And Tyler Humphries, I've got to say, very aggressive, snapping left and right, like chomping at the heels at the moment to get past. Bernard Barkhuizen down into 9th place, so he's done his pit stop. And there was the order of Miller just going and saying, right, you want it, go for it. Take it, now pull me along here, as we got to get going. So out in front, Daniel Rowe still need to do 2 pit stops. And it looks like Earste Domingo will be the last one needing 2 pit stops of our top 6. As Daniel Rowe, Belgium Krobler, Mahath Musa all getting themselves sorted. Andres Radio diving into the pit, so he's getting himself sorted out. Will Ryan Barrington Smith also do the same? No, he's going to keep going. Earste Domingo also keeps on the gas, going to keep himself in the race. So couple of cars opting to go that little bit further, as we see our leader now carving his way through all the back markers, trying to put as much time over one another, hoping that it's going to be enough. And we did see that was Heineke that took a sharp left. Heineke getting a very, very sharp left. The luxury time racing car number 69, getting it all out of shape over the curb, as we jump to Tim the cameraman. Watches it from above, hard on the brakes, turns it in over the first set of bumps, over the second set of bumps. Oh, and just so much rotation going and taking him out of the race. That is not ideal for him. Unfortunately, does lose our position to his teammate Jason Farmer, who does pull into the pit. So a couple of cars getting themselves sorted out. Stop go, 30-second penalty handed out to Andres Radio, speeding in pits. Not ideal circumstances there. Keegan Saunderson with Jaco Krobler onto the back of him, all looking to try and get themselves straightened out. Keegan dives into the pits. I think, no, he doesn't. That was for Fears that dives into the pits. Keegan minding out of the way. Jaco getting past, and will be carrying on his merry way. Interesting. Taking a look, Jude Neville saying, my pedal fell apart, my race is done. Oh, man, just, that is gut-wrenching. That is honestly gut-wrenching. Well, Jude, if you want, the commentary box is available. Just head over to the interview room. It would be brilliant to have a chat to you and find out what exactly happened. This is a bit of contact between the likes of Mordred Claessens and Daniel the Hitman de Villiers. And Claessens getting it twisted around. And unfortunately caught out into the mix. So, Jude Neville, if you want in the RaceFace.Pro Discord, head over to the interview room. We'll pull you in for a bit of a chat. And just, you know, it'll be interesting just to have a bit of one-on-one with Jude, especially after a mechanical failure like that. I mean, it does happen. I mean, we had one where the guy stood on his cat. So, yeah, his little kitten ran past the brake pedal and squeaked. Was a bit of an interesting sound, rest assured. Got some schoolwork to do. Alright, dude, no problem. School comes first, though. Study hard. Enjoy it. And enjoy keeping the stream in the background and supporting on the fellow teams, as we've got quite a bit racing right here. Reminder to everyone, we do have a Pro and a Pro-Am class all racing simultaneously. We've got 3 different servers that are brought on by RaceFace.Pro. Big shout out to our sponsors, Ondorf Machinery Mart and SA Lube, that go and power the series. Tyler Humphries and Duplessis, though, looking to utilize all the power they've got in the cars, as the Audi R8 versus the V6 howler of the Ferrari 296. But it does look like the R8 just having enough legs in that V10 to get itself just in the right spot, sweeping across the nose. Once again, Tyler Humphries is the more aggressive of the drivers of the PWSR team, but this time not able to get past, as Duplessis countered him blow for blow, constantly sweeping across the front nose, ensuring that he can keep a solid gap. That does allow Miller to get into the fight and close up as much as possible. And now Tyler losing out that position to Thriller Miller, who will be now pulling himself along. I think a bit of a discussion there of, listen, you didn't get the pass done and dusted. Back off, let me go for it. We'll hunt him down. Maybe we can put him into a little bit of a difficult bind, or try and save your tires. So there could be lots of strategy at play with all our drivers. Daniel Rowe, though, having the strategy of just run it until the tank goes dry, it seems, as he is in first place. But what is that going to do for his tire chances? Vega Krobler still needing to do 2 stops. Maeth Musa still needing to do 2 more stops. Bernard Barkhuizen, who scored the fastest lap time of the race, has done 1 stop, but was stopped in the box for 32 seconds. So he did put a fresh set of tires on, as we see a drive-through penalty handed out to Ferian Reina, and that is going to be for abusing track limits. Oh man, 19th position and get that penalty is pretty much standing there and getting a shot from Mike Tyson without blocking a single thing. So you're definitely going to be suffering on that one. Not ideal circumstances, but can happen. See another set of yellow flags between Daniel de Villiers and Mordred Claessens, who's stopped in the dirt. Okay, so here is Mordred Claessens battling his way through, and now has got de Villiers in front of him. Oh, just rear contact. Stops the car immediately. He's able to get himself going, but Daniel de Villiers getting a bit of a sharp turn there. He's okay and going, but Claessens lost out a fair amount of time, and he still needs to get 1 more pit stop underway. So we do see Vega Krobler and Maeth Musa pull into the pits. A couple of drivers just not having their nights. Really not having their nights right here at Zandvoort. This is going to be a really take home and start doing a little bit of schoolwork on what exactly went on with races. A lot of these teams will do a debrief. They'll sit down with each other and sit with the drivers and say, right, what could we do differently? What can we improve? How can we improve, especially with the close contacts that we've been having, or even just that track limits and going too fast in pit lane. I know there was a discussion between myself and Hansi Myberg where he went and asked, you know, how I don't land up going and speeding in pits. One, there's 2 ways to it. One, I slow up quite a bit before the pits. I come off the gas and slow myself down. The other one, if I'm not too confident on the where it is, I tend to move my pit limiter away from my thumb at the top of the steering. I actually move it down. I've got to move my whole hand down to click the pit limiter. So I actually lose time to hit the pit limiter, put my hand back to the top. Once I've crossed the line, I've got to take my hand off and click the button once again. Deliberately moving the pit limiter away to try and not land up going quicker than, you know, what is there. Daniel Rowe into the pits. I know other drivers tend to do that as well. They tend to move it off to a button box off to the side of them. But if also in these cars, if you engage second gear on a set of corsa competizione, it immediately disengages the pit limiter. So it's one of these you've got to also just watch your gearing when you get to it. Sit on, maybe just go the extra 5 meters or the extra 2.5 meters even outside the cones before you get back onto the button. Or get back onto the gas. And Tyler Randall say Zolder is just the circuit that can make or break it. And that's the thing about Zolder. As you see Tyler Humphries going in, wiggling his car, saying he's not going to go for the pass on René Heineke just as yet. And does dart up the inside, swaps around. Bit of an interesting play there where he unsettles the car, just going that little left right going and unsettling it to inform drivers what's happening. Not 100% sure. I think if that's the case, I'll just slightly come off the gas, give them that little bit of room, just a reassurance that you're not going to go for a dive. But unsettling the car, going and changing what the tires are going to be at the end of the race, scrubs off a bit, but the tactic seems to work for him. Darren Miller and Daniel De Villiers going and changing positions from one another, so they've done a good job there. This PWSR team just talking it out. Verviers and Heineke now going door to door against one another over the curbs and nearly into the back of one another as they fight their way through. So if I take a look at my scoring as it stands, we've got the likes of Daniel Rowe, who would be staying in first position. He would gain the top of the charts. Bernard Barkhuizen, who is yet to set in a set of points, will be lying a little bit further down the order. So hoping that he can try and keep it going a little bit in this fight. Let's see how he's going to gain a bit of time. Beggar Kobler will also look to put in a number of standings between himself and everyone else. Paul Fenton, Mahath Musa, Issam Domingo trying to make a bit of headway as well. He's lying in 6th place. Ryan Barrington-Smith in 7th position. 8th, Jaco Kotze, our team Try Hard Bandits, going and fighting out. But we have been missing out on the silent charges of Jean Leroux and Duplessis at the moment. They have both completed their mandatory pit stops and now have an opportunity to go a little bit further up. So they are racing end to end at the moment as they get a little bit more drivers. We see the 22 car getting a yellow flag. That is like Sir Jean Verviers. We've got it out of shape right behind René Heineke. Under braking, turns it in over the curbs, and oh, there she goes. Slides around into the grass, and now you got to just try and turn around gently on the power to bring it back. So Verviers now gets his way past Saunderson. Saunderson not fighting it out too much there. Has got Ryan Barrington-Smith all onto the back of him. Ryan will be saying, how's it, buddy? Need you to give me a little bit of room here as Jaco Kotze trying to gain a little bit of ground. Yellow flags. Oh, no! Sanderson getting into the wall. What on earth happened? Over the curbs, brings it back. Lets the cars go. Right. Where did it all go wrong? Where did the wall bite you? As we're trying to keep an eye on his car. Under braking. Oh, just touched the grass. Oh man, just ever so slightly touched the grass, and that was all she wrote. Turning the car around, and unfortunately smack bang in the wall. A bit of trouble coming in. Oh man, that is just gut wrenching, and he wasn't the only one. Take a look. There was also a yellow flag for the 55 car. This is Kilian Rayner at the exact same time. Did have a yellow flag kick up, and I think he had the same sort of moment over the curbs. It's a little bit calmer there. Ran out wide. Oh, it just got twisted around. Not as bad, but just nearly ending a PWSR's car's race. Shingos, that was close. So, very close. 121 car. Sanderson once again. I mean, this is just gut-wrenching to see him drop a tire off. And so easy to do. Mining out of the way. Get a little bit close. Turn around. Bang, in the wall. And nearly actually going into the Team Triad Bandits car. That was ahead of him. So, just so close. Unfortunately, this is where fatigue is starting to kick in. Frustration ultimately will start to be in the head of these drivers. Alan Patterson and Jason Farmer, these two know each other oh so well over the course of last season, fighting it out till championship's bitter end between them for the Pro-Ams. Jason Farmer, though, doing everything he can to keep about a second gap between himself and Alan Patterson. And Alan recently had to say farewell to his son, who's now went over to represent South Africa in cricket, and will be watching on and saying, how's Dad? Keep up the hard work, trying to pull out that inner Patterson luck at this point to claw his way up through the ranks. Currently lying in 15th position. Jason Farmer of Luxury Time Racing has got the entire Luxury Time team behind him, going and cheering on, shouting out from the rooftops to keep him going. Interesting run. So Bernard Barkhuizen now 12 seconds away from Daniel Rowe. They both have completed 40, or they're on their 40th lap at the moment. Bego Krubler down in third place, not getting an easy drive though. He is 10 seconds away. Paul Fenter is in 4th position. Now our top 8 before everyone else that has done their pit stops, our top 8 still need to get one more pit stop done and dusted. We're into the final closing stage of the race. 28 minutes and 55 seconds remaining of this race right here at the RaceFace.Pro. Round 2 of the GT3 Championship, Season 18. Can you believe it? Everyone thought it would not be possible. Well, we proved it completely wrong. Made it to Season 18. And might I say, is now the age to go and have a milkshake. Not a milkshake with ice, because Cameron, definitely that's why he's sick. He mixed a milkshake with ice together. Just, no. Oh, the thought of it just brings chills down the spine. It's like putting pineapple on a pizza. It's just, you don't do things like that in life. But out there to everyone watching and keeping an eye from our virtual grandstands, good to have you guys here. And who are you supporting for this race? Who are you supporting to claw their way to a victory? Will it be a Daniel Rowe? Will it be a Bernard Barkhuizen? Will it be a Bego Krubler? When will they pit? Will it be in the final 10 minutes of the race? Well, we're going to have to find out and see who will be able to make their way to the top of the charts. Actually, you know what? Let's start a little bit of a poll. Will Rowe win the race? Let's see if we could start a bit of a poll. For you, the viewers. We'll start our poll. Our viewers get to decide. Will Daniel Rowe be able to maintain first place? 12 seconds between himself and Bernard Barkhuizen. Bernard slowly drawing back. Now let me go and throw in a couple of times here, as we've got Bernard Barkhuizen's best lap time of a 1:27.8. Previous lap time though was a 1:29.5. He's on an older set of tires. Daniel Rowe now steals their fastest lap time, doing a 1:27.815. So top of the charts, he seems to be doing well, but can he maintain that constant pace? Bernard Barkhuizen down into the 1:28.8 as he fights his way through. Bego Krubler trying to close down on the gap. Single pit stop though. That's the one thing I want to bring out, is the single pit stop. Daniel Rowe likes running it out till the last second. Bernard Barkhuizen, we've seen, is quite good on the undercuts, as he tends to get that little way past, so keep an eye on it. And we will have to see who will be able to pull their way to victory there. Jean Leroux and Duplessis fight it out. Jean Leroux tries to keep ahead of Duplessis late on the brakes, trying to turn that Audi around and get going once again. But our drivers really doing everything they can to keep it all together. Second guessing there, Duplessis trying to bait Leroux. Don't think it's going to work so well because he has already done the pit stop. But I think it's enough time for our votes to close on it. And I do think it's, well, the poll pretty much says it. There is all the votes for Daniel Rowe to win the race. Lots of confidence in Daniel Rowe. Lots of confidence to do it. Paul Venter, though, keeping Mahath Musa at bay. One of Paul Venter's sole goals in the world of RaceFace.Pro GT3 Championship, and also in many other championships, is to beat out the Project Vapor. He's going to cast so much shade over the course of the year and going and calling them the dive bombers. Well, so far he hasn't been able to beat them as yet. Now he is doing everything he can to keep ahead of Mahath Musa, who will be hunting him down, trying to focus onto the attack. So a bit of sitting games here. I think majority of our racers are just getting into the groove. They're watching it out, the 24 minutes of the race left to go. Autopilot mode engaged, and as said by Tyler Rendell, is just going in, watching and seeing what's going to work out for them, who's going to be the best strategy onto it. Paul Venter holding back the likes of Mahath Musa, nose to tail between it, and very good question coming in there. Will Venter be able to hold it off? Well, I think we can go and bring that into a bit of a chat point and see the votes while it's happening on circuit. There we go. There we go. The vote is there. Paul Venter, Mahath Musa, the two fighting out 4th and 5th place. Paul the Wall Venter versus the likes of Mahath Musa. Project Vapor looking to blow smoke and going for it. P11, well, Mac van der Merwe now into the pits, so he's dropping way down the order as Paul doing everything he can to defend against Mahath Musa, who will do everything he can to really chomp down on the back of that Aston Martin. Paul hoping that he has enough in the tank, has enough left in the tires. Both have also got a fresh set of boots on with only one stop to go. They will need to get in the pits, refuel, and get going. At the moment, it's a 50-50. The crowd divided in this fight of Mahath Musa and Paul Venter, as it does look like Mahath Musa's got the drive. Will go for around the outside. Can he get it all hooked up, though? Before the chicane, dives for the inside line, just missing out as Paul Venter going and keeping it all together, runs over the curb, stops it dead in the tracks. The Aston Martin trying everything he can to get defensive against Mahath Musa. Paul needs to go and really dig deep here. Mahath going a little bit later on the break, really digs in those in on the BMW, gets early on the drive, really fighting his way through, and I mean we can jump on board through the roll bar and we can see how close he closes up onto Paul. Under braking, huge gains, and will it be enough as they both get unsteady on the throttle? Mahath Musa a little bit more on the dirt though, does throw himself a bit back. We'll have to try and figure out what's going to work for him. And then you've got the likes of Paul Venter from the rear wing. You can see Mahath Musa trying and cutting the circuit a little bit more as he throws himself around, trying to figure out how to get the drive. Looks for the inside line, a little bit too far back. Will have to go and dig it deep into the corner if he wants to try and pull this off. Both going for the top 5, both trying to suss each other out. And it does look like Mahath Musa starting to lose that little bit of ground. 0.5 of a second separates Paul Venter and Mahath Musa, 4th and 5th, as they jump over the curbs. Mahath Musa going in, really jumping over them in defiance of the Aston Martin. Unfortunately, does kills off his drive. And looks like Paul Venter able to get going once again. So as our poll goes and shows, the crowd divided on a 50-50 situation. Both Mahath Musa and Paul Venter getting the chance to keep going here. Both getting the crowd on their side, hoping that it will be enough to fight each other out. And Paul Venter going and parking that car squarely on the apexes, going and killing off a drive of Mahath Musa, as now they start to close down on one of the PWSR cars ahead of them. 20 minutes and 24 seconds ago is just a proper fight. Andres Radio and Mac van der Merwe nose to tail with one another. They are also pushing as hard as they can to try and make some time. Mac van der Merwe getting ahead of Seradio. This is a battle that we saw earlier on, where the BMW just didn't have the legs on one another. So battle forming all over. Ryan Barrington-Smith and SM Domingo having a go at one another. Jean Leroux and Duplessis also on top of one another. So some amazing battles now starting to go for a fight and a half. Mac van der Merwe going to go side by side with Seradio, underbraking. Who's going to be braver? Oh, both sending it. Both making it. How that was made by both cars, who knows? But Mac van der Merwe had to hold his breath quite a bit. Underbraking. Seradio just really having to dig in and hold his ground. Unfortunately, ran out a little bit wide, and that killed off a lot of his drive. But what a phenomenal run from Mac van der Merwe and Seradio, with a huge dive on both of them. Utmost faith that the drivers will not turn into one another. And that just ultimately played into each other's favor. What a run. Jean Leroux has now Duplessis looking around the outside. Duplessis is going to be parked squarely on the inside. Can they run each other? Oh, side by side. Just couldn't get it all hooked in. And Duplessis losing out the drive to Leroux. So up and down the order, we have got fights of drivers doing whatever they can to stand out on the top of the charts. There's me repeating myself. I think I'm spelling burnt toast after that one. Some proper racing had by all. Mahath Musa closing up right onto the back of Paul Venter. Looks for the inside, looks for the outside. Really trying to hunt down where can he get past this Aston Martin. Does he have to swipe left? Does he have to swipe right? Well, Paul Venter is hoping he swipes left instead of swiping right, because it's easy to swipe right and then that's it, game over. But if you swipe left, definitely going for it. This is absolutely proper running. And we do have yellow flags for the number 74 car. I think that's Ryan Barrington-Smith. Yes, it is. Ryan Barrington-Smith, unfortunately, getting caught up in a bit of a problem, losing out 2 positions to SM Domingo and Jaco Kutzer, and the Porsche just, snap steer, and just a collection into the wall. Second, as he's trying to get himself going. But argy-bargy into the wall, and taking a look, Paul Venter and Mahath Musa also came to blows as we went to the replay. So let's quickly jump back a couple of seconds. See how this worked out between them. It's Mahath Musa chasing down, looks to keep in the toe, dives for the inside line, hard on the brakes, a little bit of contact between the two. Mahath Musa does have Paul Venter run out wide, and both of them just going and saying, okay, right, we're still good, we're still driving, as Paul Venter leads ahead of Mahath Musa, who will be gritting his teeth at this moment, trying to figure out how can he get past the Aston Martin, what needs to be done to get past the likes of Paul the Wall Venter, who's been doing a sterling job up until now. So let's go through our running order quickly, as Daniel Rowe leading out the top of the charts, Bernard Barkhuizen in second place with likes of Bego Krobler, Paul Venter and Mahath Musa, who are fighting out for 4th and 5th, followed by SM Domingo, Jaco Kutzer, Ryan Barrington-Smith, Jean Leroux, Quinn Duplessis, Jason Farmer, Alan Patterson, Rian van der Race, Tyler Humphries, Ruben Heineke, Mac van der Merwe, Andres Aradio, Jean Verveers, along with Kika Saunderson, Darren Miller, Jaco Krobler, Daniel the Hitman de Villiers, and Julian Reyno still going around. 23 cars still circulating at this point. Closest fight on circuit is currently Paul Venter and Maeth Musa. Second to that would be Ruben Heineke, Mac van der Merwe, and Andres Aradio. They are 0.8 of one another. Scratch that, make it Ruben Heineke losing out a bit of time as Mac van der Merwe immediately onto the back of him. And we do see contact between 145 and 93. Bit of a problem going on there. That is Jaco Krobler. And it looks to be one of the Helldiver cars trying to get past. He dives up on the inside. Jaco opens the door, allows him to get past. Duplessis comes by, a little bit of nudge there, just to say, hey buddy, you're a bit slow through the corner. In turn, nowhere to go. No harm, no foul. Both cars still going. Everyone's still driving. That's good. Good to hear. Seradio having a good close battle with Mac van der Merwe. Remembering the start of the race, we'll be seeing if that Porsche is going to be struggling on the rears. Issam Domingo with the drive-through penalty, though, in the latest stages of the race. So that is abuse of track limits. A drive-through penalty on top of everything. Oh, man, he's got one more pit stop. A drive-through penalty for Verveers as well. Every driver, I think, is now on their last warnings, and we're starting to see it get dished out more and more as Domingo and Verveers getting a caught between each other. Oh man, what a blow. Paul Venter running out wide. Absolutely proper running. As Issam Domingo, though, will be kicking himself. Abuse to the pedals. Here we come. Maeth Musa, though, going to try abuse the brakes a little bit. Tries to get a little bit onto the inside of Paul Venter. Couldn't get it all tightened up. And loses out the drive. Ruben Heineke defends, goes middle of the circuit. Mac van der Merwe and Project Vapor Andres Aradio gets past. Does look like Verveers into the pits. Mac van der Merwe, though, gets much better corner exit. And now right up the back of likes of Seradio. Can he hold it, though? He's just not able to bring it back. Couldn't swing the nose in enough to get it to work. Another little battle that is forming out at circuit. Jaco Kutzer of Team Tryhard Bandits up against the back of Issam Domingo. Issam Domingo needing to serve that drive-through penalty. Unfortunately, will be losing out that run, but Kutzer could use it to his advantage to see when he needs to get in the pits and utilize the tow. Maeth Musa giving it everything he can. 0.4 of a second behind Paul Venter. As our top runners have a very lonely drive, keeping well enough of 10 to 18 seconds between one another. For our top three, fourth and fifth seems to be where the action's at. Maeth Musa wanting to look to the inside once again. Second guesses it. Going to run over the chicanes. Bounce again. Bounce again. Oh, so close. Flirting with those track limits. Oh boy. Going to be definitely going and suffering from that. A couple of drivers like Jaco Kutzer going to be pushing as hard as he can. Jean Leroux, Duplessis onto the back of one another, gaining a bit of time. Heineke onto the back of Tyler Humphries, as Humphries has been in battles left, right and center. I think he's sick and tired of having a train behind him, but Ruben Heineke, no stranger to getting elbows out against the likes of Andres Aradio and Mac van der Merwe. Mac does look on the inside, tries to go for it, second guesses it. You could see there was a thought, then it wasn't there, then it was there, then it was a her, then it was a hum, and eventually it was a nah coming into it. Under braking though, oh, Andres Aradio getting to struggle to slow the car down. Mac van der Merwe gets tank slapper on the exit, and it does look like Seradio will have the legs down the main straight. and get past Heidecke. So definitely some epic action going on. Lucas Herman saying Tyler Humphries is taking pics out in the stands. Can you see his Canon camera? Well, if you look at the start-finish line, there is a mirror reflecting, and there is a chap that is taking a photo. So if you look at the finish line as the cars are coming towards you, you will see in the mirror there's someone that's actually taken a photo. So just a fun fact. Do yourself a favor, go drone cam, go look at it. You'll see him right there by the marshal's post. Nice Musa, big dive, looks, no money, no whammy. In the back of Paul Venter. Paul, who used his teammate as a blockade on Sunday, now going in, creating the blockade using the Aston Martin. Not going to be able to do it just yet. Actually pulls into the pits, baited Mahyth Musa in a little bit, and that sends Mahyth Musa now guessing when he's going to do his pit stop. As we see, Mac van der Merwe goes off-road to try and get himself around. Tyler Humphries, though, has got the Andre Serradio Project Vapor, dives up on the inside, side by side they go. Humphries just able to get the drive. Then you've got Mac van der Merwe, Ruben Heineke going side by side with one of the OG cars that's trying to maneuver his way past. Unfortunately, not ideal circumstances for a lot of these cars. Tires being abused left, right and center. There's no time to go and pull into the pits and get a new fresh set of boots. You're going to have to go and do a splash and dash, as Paul Venter has done, as he exits the pits in 7th position, with Keegan just coming across the front of his nose. Keegan will be a blue flag, lets him go by. Says, don't want to fight too much with you, going to let you go, but Jean Leroux will be so close. Jean Leroux trying the best he can to close up the gap as it stands. But our top runners, Daniel Rowe, Bernard Barkhuizen, Bago Krobler, Mahyth Musa, Ryan Barrington-Smith, and Jaco Kutza, will need to get their pit stops done and dusted. Issam Domingo, though, lying in 10th position, needs to get his stop done and dusted. And that's just going to throw him way down the order, as the Hitman is currently in the pits and currently on the grandstands. Daniel the Hitman de Villiers. Oh my heavens, we actually got him here in the commentary box. Daniel, welcome to the commentary box. A little bit far from where you meant to be, buddy. What happened?
Yeah, Stephen, it's not my lucky day today. I used it all on yesterday's race.
Take us through what's gone on that's brought you to the commentary box. I'll boil up a cup of coffee for you, but yeah, what brought you here?
I just lost a car. Giving way to Q1, and then I just got I think very bad turbulence, and the car just went straight and I bended in the wall. So that was the end of my race.
The car taking a little bit too much of a knock and too much damage, and unfortunately the end of the race of that. But what a drive you've had. I mean, it hasn't been an easy one, but you were also in a bit of a mix with, as we see, that's Tyler Humphries going and getting caught. We just caught the shot of it. Tyler Humphries unfortunately getting twisted around, or twisted himself around and then assisted. It's Mac van der Merwe fighting out with one of the Project Vapor cars. Mac gets a little light touch. Humphries, oh my heavens, had nowhere to go. He was very slow out of the corner and then just got swallowed by the field.
I wonder what happened there then.
A bit of a strange one, but now he's got Thriller Miller onto the back of him. These two have been swapping around positions the whole time. How's communication been amongst the team? I know that Tyler's been a little bit more aggressive than both yourself and Darren Miller. He's been really trying to push his way to the front, but also at the same time we do know that PWSR tend to...
We've been very quiet, Stephen. It's been hard focus. Alan is doing very well at the moment in 11th, so there was just absolute silence and just focus, pure focus.
Okay, well, bit of an interesting drive there. Ruox Badger saying how's it? He's all the way from Twitch, and Tyler also going and saying how's it. But Daniel, it's always great to chat to you, but yeah, not fun when you're not in the car fighting it out. I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a bummer on that one, but take us through. You drive 2 different cars each week, one being the Nissan GTR and the other one is a Ferrari. How's the mindset swapping between the big monstrous Nissan GTR and the light and nimble Ferrari that's out on circuit?
Well, Steven, it's 2 different, very, very different cars, the complete opposite of each other. So to get used to the driving style of the Ferrari and the Nissan, it's not lacquer, it's not good, but I can manage it at least. I've known the Nissan for quite some time actually and know what the car is capable of. The Ferrari, I'm still learning here and there on new tracks with this car, but there is still potential for me to improve with this car.
Fair enough. And with the team still fighting it out there, you're unfortunately out of the race. What's the overall positioning for the cars? Do you think that Tyler Humphries and Darren Miller will be able to get past Keegan Sanderson, who's never giving up at this point? He's properly having a fight with it.
Yeah, Stephen, this is going to be a very interesting battle here between these 3 drivers. They are hard racers, and I'm sure they have respect for each other to give space and make it a fair fight.
But all eyes also looking back at team principal and saying, okay buddy, just keep it together. So I'm going to leave you be to go and rejoin, and look forward to getting some of the news, some of the chats, and once again, very, very sorry about the race. I mean, you're one of a couple that have fallen out. Jude Neville unfortunately had his whole pedal system fall apart in the middle of the race. You unfortunately had the car going careening off into the wall and landing up with severe damage, but we look forward to seeing you for the next race.
No, Stephen, I can't win them all, you know. But yeah, on to the next.
On to the next. Thanks very much for joining us.
All right, man.
Daniel de Villiers coming in for a quick chat. It's always nice to have a chat to the guy, even when times are tough. You're still excited, still happy. Ryan Barrington-Smith and Jaco Kutzer pulling into the pits, so they're getting themselves done and dusted. We saw likes of Daniel Rowe into the pits earlier, and now Bernard Barkhuizen pulls into the pits. This is going to allow Daniel Rowe to gain a bit of time and maybe take the position back. Mahath Musa will need to pit, as they're the only 2 that need to get in. Well, Barkhuizen and Musa are the only ones that need pits. 2 minutes and 50 to go. Rowe giving it everything he's got, getting close. Barkhuizen still needing to stop. Oh, this pit lane is so long. Absolutely mind-boggling to see how long it is. Daniel Rowe retaking the position. Barkhuizen tried everything he could. Mahath Musa is still going. So Mahath Musa still needs to stop. Right. 1 pit stop needed, buddy, and you ran out of time. So this is 130 seconds coming in as a bit of a door. So he's going to put 130 seconds ahead of Bernard Barkhuizen, Vega Krobler, Paul Fenter, Jean Leroux, Duplessis, Ryan Barrington-Smith, Jaco Kutzer, Jason Farmer, if he wishes to hold that second place spot. Ran it down a little bit too close on the clock there, I would feel, and unfortunately it just hurt. Absolutely tore him apart on that one. There's some Domingo, as we see in the wall, getting a bit of a knock as well. So let's take a look from Tim in the helicam of what happened to SM Domingo. Did he put a wheel wrong? going into the chicane, hard on the brakes, over the set of curbs, over the next set of curbs, a little bit of a tank slapper, straight lines, slight knock into the wall. He's able to save it as he's coming back on track. Oh, monster impact! My heavens, was that with the number? That was with it might have been with number 55 car. As we hear that leaders on the far lap drive through for Keegan Saunderson, but that was the 55 going and running into him. This is what Gideon Rayner trying to close up. Going just fine, and then suddenly BMW, whammy dammy bang, in the wall. Rayner, oh man, just trying to bring a car back after that. Oh, what an impact as Paul Fenter gets on the inside of Mahith Musa, gets a pass done. Oh man, Rayner just absolutely got drilled, and that pretty much took him right out of that running. Oh boy, okay, well, seen it all, but one person that's going to take it all goes to Daniel Rowe as he comes across the line to take the checkered flag. Daniel Rowe of Hybrid Racing gets the win. Bernard Barkhuizen will come across in second place, along with Beggar Krobler in third. Getting the laps done and dusted. Gets third place. Walking home with some points. Paul Fenter also doing a brilliant job as we see some Domingo trying to bring the car back for fears. And Jaco Krobler landed up in the weeds there. But Paul Fenter finishing up in fourth. Mahith Musa in fifth. Sixth goes to Jean Leroux. Duplessis in seventh. Eighth going to Ryan Barrington-Smythe, along with Jaco Kutzer. Then 10th, Jason Farmer, Rian van der Race. Alan Patterson getting 12th position right at the line. Number 100 car getting it sorted. Followed by Mac van der Merwe in 13th. 14th, Andres Radia, Ruben Heineke, Issam Domingo, Darren Miller, Tyler Humphreys, Keegan Saunderson, John Verveers, Jaco Krobler, Gideon Rayner, and Daniel the Hitman de Villiers, who actually gets back out on track to give the PWSR a little bit of a finish. It's always good to see when the guys do that. Just brings it home nicely. Bernard Barkhuizen stopped down circuit. Couple of cars stopped out on circuit. As celebrations run their way through. Lots of drivers will be smiling as they got themselves to the line. What a run. What a drive. What a race it was. With so much being said, though, we're going to be taking a look back to our highlights of the race. So let's go back to the commentary box, take an overview of the circuit as we look to relive some of the amazing action in the world of highlights and see if we can get a couple of comments from our race winners on their fantastic race. And a bit of a lonely one out in front for our top three, but some absolutely monumental racing for others a little bit further down. It's always nice to have a chat to some of the others that were in a fight a little bit lower. So we drop to the highlights. Daniel Rowe gets a win. This is the start of the race. Chaos into turn one as everyone's side by side trying to figure out where they can go. A little bit of contact in the background. The biggest and the baddest saying cheers all. Great to have you. Biggest baddest. Tyler Randall also going and saying great race. It's good to have you, and thank you very, very much. Glad that you enjoyed the racing action right here for round two of the RaceFace.Pro GT3 Championship. And what a race it was for everyone standing on the top of the charts. But it is not over. This is only round two, ladies and gentlemen. We still have a couple of more rounds in the championship to go. And with the standings still wide open for all our drivers, if you had a bad one this time round, it's not all done and dusted as yet. Round three will be heading to my favorite track next week. Looking forward to that. That's going to be Brands Hatch on the 16th of May. So keep an eye out on it, as Brands Hatch will be the go-to. Big things are to come right here at RaceFace.Pro, so keep a very close eye on all the social medias. That is just my suggestion to everyone. Keep an eye on the channel. Keep an eye on the social media. It's going to be wild. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be incredible. And it's all going to be rather new. But taking a look at some incredible drives, we have got Daniel Rowe. Daniel Rowe, welcome to the commentary box. And how are you feeling? How was that? A bit of a boring race for you this time round.
Boring is good sometimes. I enjoyed that.
So take us through the race. At the start, you had to quickly jump away and claw your way out to the front. But the Lamborghini seems to be holding a little bit better than the front engines that you were driving previously.
Yeah, I'm actually Barcelona was an unknown, and it turned out well. I think I'm just clicking nicely with the car. Still tricky to drive. But yeah, I enjoyed the Porsche very much. Not so much the BM. I didn't really get to grips with it, but loving the Lambo, and the setup worked out well today. So I enjoyed that.
Now I've got the question to ask. What was the plan come the pit stops? We all know that the likes of Zolder has one of these incredibly long pits that always leaves you guessing whether you're going to come out in front. Was the game plan to run the tank until the end, see what happens, or was there another plan that might have been thrown to the wings?
I'm always in two minds in Zolder, because I always decide whether I want tires or not, and most of the time I've not taken tires. I've managed to get it to the end without tires. But today what I did was I fueled a little bit extra just to run a little bit longer, to give me that option, depending on the gap to the opposition. So I had a little gap to the guys behind. So then I obviously had the fuel in hand, so I decided to push out a bit, but I ended up taking tires anyway, because I noticed that the others took tires, so I may as well. So yeah, the setup was good. Car felt hooked today. Very comfortable in the car today, and the setup and the strategy worked out.
Absolutely incredible stuff. Well, Daniel, anything you would like to say to everyone out there in the virtual grandstands cheering you on, and also to our sponsors, SA Lube and Arndorf Machinery Mart, that was keeping a very close eye on all the action tonight?
Yeah, obviously thank you to the guys running the races every week. It was another fantastic race and event, and well done to my teammates. And may the competitors please not bump our one teammate, Earste, for the next few rounds. Shame he's had such bad luck, and yeah, it'd be nice if he had a decent result for once. But yeah, thank you to everyone, and thanks for the race.
Needs a little bit of bubble wrap on the car, it seems, just to try give that a little bit of spacing. Fair enough. Well, shout out to Eric Kirstein, trying to persevere through it all. Take my hat off to him. Sometimes you have that roll of the dice and it's just not working in your favor, but to keep going through it all, well done, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, well, Daniel Rowe, having a good chat there. Let's bring up Bego Krobler before we head on to Bernard Barkhuizen. So, Bego Krobler, welcome to the commentary box. You managed to score third place this time round. You second in the championship. You maximized some of the points. How are you feeling after that race? A little bit of side-by-side action, and then landed up having to work against the clock.
Yeah, I'm feeling quite happy, to be honest. Quali pace was okay, and then when we got to the race, I don't know, had absolutely no race pace. So I suppose on a day like that, if you can get third, then you'll take it.
How did the track feel for you? It looked like it was getting quite dirty. The race lines were, well, all over the show, that you had to try and figure out what's going to work for you, and especially with the back markers being a difficult one on this very tight circuit. How was it out there for you?
Not too bad. Backmarkers, for me personally, I didn't really have many issues tonight with backmarkers, or really even many instances where I had to pass backmarkers in difficult places. So I think the challenge for me was, before halfway through the race, I was on my third and final warning. So finding lines through the two chicanes that didn't cost massive lap time, but didn't risk another track cut was sort of what I was trying to figure out. But yeah, luckily didn't get the fourth cut, so all's well that ends well.
That's trying to put a blindfold over the steward's eyes, saying, "Hey, listen, don't look while I'm going this way. Please don't look."
Yeah, nothing to see here.
No, yeah, move along, move along, move along. I think I saw another car a little bit further down that you should look at. Type of thing.
Absolutely.
Heading into the next race, though, Brands Hatch, very tight circuit. What's the game plan for your side?
Yeah, I'll need to put in some time. Brand's not a track. It's a track I know, but it's not a track I've historically had good results at. So I'll need to put in the effort to get a good result there. I think, although I do think the Porsche should be quite decent there. No massive long straights, which is kind of where the Porsche gives away a bit of time. So yeah, looking forward to it. Challenging track. Always good to challenge yourself as well. So challenge myself to actually get a good finish there for a change.
Well, let's see what you'll be able to do. Bego, anything you would like to say to all our grandstands, everyone out there in the grandstands, and also to our sponsors, SA Lube and Ondorf Machinery Mart? They were sitting on the edge of their seats in this race.
Yeah, just a big thanks, obviously, to the sponsors that make everything, all of this possible. And to everybody that keeps watching the stream every week, also thank you so much. It's nice for us to race and go and check the stream afterwards and see how many views we've got. It's like a feeling. So yeah, thanks for that and keep it up.
Absolutely awesome stuff. Thank you, Jan Bego Grobler of Hybrid Racing. Good to have a chat to him and getting a bit of an idea from it. Let's bring in our defending champion, Bernard Barkhuizen. Welcome to the commentary box. And, well, second place in the race. You missed out race 1. How are you feeling with race 2 suddenly right there into the mix? You're the defending champion now. You're holding the crown. But it looks like there's many drivers knocking at the castle walls.
Yeah, how's it, Steven? Thanks, man. Yeah, unfortunately I couldn't make the first race due to other reasons, but yeah, today was basically just a arrive and drive. I didn't really practice a lot, but yeah, otherwise it went well. Just put the setup on, get the pressures right, and yeah, it went alright. P2. Should be chuffed with that, yeah.
But flat on it like that. Now, taking a look at your opposition that's out on the circuit, championship, you're currently holding the crown. Do you feel that the pressure of holding that crown is quite hectic, or do you feel like every race is just go and give it your absolute best? Do you feel that there's all eyes on you? How's it walking around the pits, knowing that you're the defending champion?
Yeah, no, that doesn't really get to me. I think, if there's a battle, it would mostly be between me, Daniel, and Bego. So, yeah, it's just making sure to practice enough and, actually have that consistency, which I didn't have tonight. Daniel was on top of it. His pace was just unreal. So I just couldn't match that. But I guess, if I put in the hours, then eventually I will, get on that level. So see how it goes for the next races.
All right. Well, absolutely tremendous stuff. Anything you'd like to say to all the drivers out there and all the spectators that are watching? I mean, if the world is yours, it's all open cards.
Yeah, no, just thanks to everyone watching. I hope there was a few cars, basically catching wings in the chicanes. But yeah, there was a few interesting situations in this race, as there usually is. So yeah, I hope it's entertaining, and yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and thanks to you, Stephen.
Absolutely incredible stuff. Thank you very much, Bernard Barkhuizen, and we'll see you for Race 3, Brands Hatch, next week.
Cheers, bye.
Cheers. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we heard it all. We heard the chat, we heard the excitement, and we got to chat to all the drivers, giving their bit of insights. Also looking over to the pits, Sanjin Pillay, going and saying well done to everyone. A couple of drivers like Paul Fenter, Ludwig Zitzman, all busy having a chat down in the pits. But also out there in the grandstands, Tennis Buerta saying, go Team Hybrid Racing. So giving a bit of support there. Tyler Randell, biggest, baddest, going and shouting out Roy Oxabadger, Daniel the Hitman de Villiers. I mean, everyone going and putting in their say. A big thank you to you guys. Really, really enjoy it, and can't wait to see you coming back once again for some more racing. A big shout out to all our admin team, our entire stewards that have been putting in incredibly hard work over this past week, and also much more to come. Big news developing in the world of RaceFace, and you'll see that out on our social medias very, very soon. But also a massive thank you to our sponsors, the likes of Ardendorf Machinery Mart and SA Lube, coming in, partnering up with RaceFace.Pro for this season and for future seasons. Keep your eyes posted. It's going to be some awesome stuff coming up from them. And if you wish to join, you can always go to SimGrid and look up RaceFace.Pro. We've got lots of championships coming up, also with a announcement soon enough on when the next round of the RaceFace.Pro endurance race will be. We already had our 6 hours on Spa on iRacing. We had our 24 hours of Nordschleife on Assetto Corsa Competizione. We've got a couple of more races to come. I think the next one's going to be Monza on ACC, but you're going to have to take a look out on SimGrid or follow us on social media. Feel free to drop into our Discord as well. Come and have a chat to all the petrol heads and see how you can be a part of all the racing. But once again, hit the subscribe button, hit that like icon, hit the bell as well. Let us know what your favorite part of the race was down in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Like always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody.